What's going on, Bruin fans? Here to talk about National Signing Day. I know tonight is the USC game as I'm filming this, but I won't be able to talk about that. Two videos in a day is a little insane. But even if we win, you won't see me talk about the USC UCLA game tonight. But going on, this is talking about National Signing Day. This was the other battles we've been having with other schools for players. This class, you might say, yes, it has very few highly touted recruits, and you know what? I'm not as worried as some of you probably are. This class really just could not have very many scholarships. It was very limited, and we did not have a defensive coordinator. I mean, it's amazing how we're able to get anyone without a defensive coordinator right now. Mike Johnson, as you know, was hired, former 49ers offensive coordinator. We have 16 commits as of right now, and I think it probably will stay that way. I knew there weren't very many seniors that finished, and obviously that means not very many scholarships available. I knew it can't go higher than 20 with what we had available. I think we only had 16 or 18. I'm not even sure of the exact number, but we didn't have very many scholarships available. It'll be very interesting, I'll just say. We got a lot of people that we fit the needs. Jake Brendel being an offensive lineman, Will Oliver, another offensive lineman. We really had to stack with offensive linemen, and we had 4 3-star offensive linemen. I know y'all are going to point at the stars they have and say, oh no, we got bad players. It's really up to the coaches to develop them. Sometimes those stars, sometimes it means something, don't get me wrong, but when you talk about instant impact and stuff, I understand it's a project, but really the coaches make these guys become 5-star recruits or 4-star players. They'll exceed their expectations if the coaches can develop these guys. So regarding, UCLA's recruiting class, I'm not going to panic too hard about this. One of the guys I actually think is very underrated was Steven Manfro, running back we got out of Valencia. This guy, I think he'll be a very good project down the stretch, even though he's a 2-star recruit. This guy, from what I hear, was just not on the radar of many scouts and whatnot, so and he went to kind of a high school not on the radar. So Steven Manfro, I'll be looking forward to him. The biggest win that we already knew about, which was back in October, was Brent Hundley. We've been pretty much waiting for him for a while. He made that big decision back in the fall, in October, I think, and he enrolled in the spring, so I never had to worry about him switching teams or switching out or changing all of a sudden. That would have been a real weird disaster if that happened, but he's already enrolled into school for this semester, or quarter, since it's UCLA for quarter, so it's good to know he's in the school, and even though we were struggling during the fall, he still stayed committed with us and signed a letter of intent when we were struggling and losing. Even when we lost head-to-head to Washington, he still stuck with us. So I got to give my props to Brent Hundley for staying loyal. This could very well be Neuheisel's last stand or last moment as a UCLA head coach. I know there's a lot of controversy with him, and a lot of people are going to be calling for his head, and rightfully so. If there's another horrible season, he's done. Simple as that. So we'll see what happens. I know a lot of people say this team's going to go nowhere. Look on the bright side for guys. We got 8 returning starters on both sides of the ball. They can only get better. I hope to not see any kind of regression. But the defensive coordinator is going to need to, whoever we have, is going to need to be good. I know there's been names floating around, haven't gotten any real updates, but assuming if this season goes bad this coming fall, this is not necessarily going to fall back on Neuheisel himself, but Dan Guerrero, our athletic director. It's just, I don't know why he chose Rick Neuheisel when I thought there could have been other names out there. I wasn't pissed when we hired him. I was neutral. It was a wait and see. But I thought there could have been better names that Dan Guerrero could have hired. Going back around to this class, it fits a nice pieces of need. Some defensive linemen, Sam Tai, Brandon Taliafufu. I know it's a very long name I can't pronounce as well. The big steal we got today was Kevin McReynolds, a guy from the East Coast out of Washington, D.C. Supposedly he was a Syracuse commit, but he signed a letter of intent with us. Uh, he's most likely the most prized recruit we have in this class outside of Hunley. Devin Lucian also made a decision to UCLA, so those are the big name recruits out of this class, supposedly. Of course, in reality, 2 or 3 years from now, we'll really see how good or bad these guys really will be or not. Funny that the coach's son, Jerry Neuheisel, is actually in this class. He's listed as a quarterback. I guess it's like a walk-on or something. That's interesting. I mean, it's like a Dan Hawkins, Cody Hawkins story almost. So the big fun drama today, I was going to make this video before 3 o'clock initially, but I had some class and stuff to take care of. Torian White. This is a fun drama of the days. On national television, he selected USC with his hat and whatnot. But somehow, after signing the national letter of intent, UCLA received his letter of intent, and he is a UCLA Bruin. It's got to be one of the most awkward, funny stories. He was committed with us before the day. Once it was noon, he put the USC hat on, and now he's a Bruin because he gave the letter of intent to here. So that's got to be one of the more silly stories of the day. I'm not going to say I'm pumped. If you're a USC fan and you're going to post me on your forums, whatever. I don't care. I'm not pumped. I'm not going to be super excited, but I am happy that all the positions of needs were filled, and it's up to the coaching to develop them. If the coaching of the current people on the team, they're supposed to be the pieces of the puzzle. A lot of those people we got from the past 2 seasons, they got to step it up, and the coaches got to play better. Sorry about that. We'll see what Mike Johnson does. We'll see what Rick Neuheisel does. I'll talk one more time for the spring football recap. But until then, we'll see you guys later. And as always, go Bruins.